If you don't have enough for you, you cannot give to anyone else. You have the power to heal yourself. So I hope you heal. And if you need help, just reach out. I'm here for you. Today, I'm going to tell you about my healing journey, how I healed myself, and now I have the ability to help and heal others. It really begins with the notion that we all have the ability to heal ourselves. Something that I learned firsthand, something that I teach my clients, and something that I hope you will learn from my stories. And we all come into this world, into our family of origin, to learn lessons, and certainly our first teachers, our parents, can highlight what we need to learn. So for me, chose parents and chose a family of origin where I felt like a black sheep. I felt totally different, and I wasn't sure why until about 7 or 8 years old. And I had a lot of experiences where I would struggle with being in this 3D reality. So, the day-to-day things were more challenging for me. I'm very sensitive, I always have been, and I didn't know what that meant as a kid. And so I would cry a lot, I would scream a lot, I would have a lot of challenge with my mom, and she didn't know what to do. What I would do is I would go to the spirit world. I would, visit my invisible friends. I would connect with energies there to escape what was happening in this 3D physical reality. My parents weren't emotionally available to me, so that's the way I would regulate and process things. Fast forward to becoming an adult, I strongly believe those patterns, those lessons will continue to show up for you. If you don't learn the lesson and if you don't heal it, it continues to want to be healed. And for me, that meant in my relationships with romantic partners, I would be playing out those childhood patterns again and again of not knowing how to express emotion, not knowing how to get close to someone. That's always been difficult for me. I've always had this barrier around my heart and getting close to people, being vulnerable, being open. So challenging. Finally, in 2016, I'm a young adult and I'm running my own marketing agency and I'm living in the world. I had just gotten married and living in the Bay Area, and my soul was calling. And what I mean by that is she was giving me messages, giving me signs, putting things in front of me to make me pay attention to her. Because I was living a very outward life, motivated by money. I was motivated by growing my business and how that would look externally, how that would look to others. And yes, I got a lot of satisfaction from it personally, but I also, a lot of it was appearance of what I was achieving, very outward focused, achieve, action, goal, reach that goal, go higher, get a new goal, always, trajectory upward, and always like a physical manifestation of it. So if I got more money, that meant I could buy all these things. I could have that car. I could, all the things that a lot of us are motivated by. And I will say that I'm still motivated by that because I like nice things, but it's less so now. So that was the way I was living, and it was leading to a lot of dissatisfaction in myself and the way that I led my life. I didn't feel connected to a lot of people, truthfully. I was in a phase where I was letting go of certain types of people, welcoming in new friends, and my soul was a part of this, and she really wanted to reconnect to me as the human body, personality living right now. So what do I mean by my soul? My soul is the driver now, but I strongly believe that we are souls, eternal, having a human experience. So in this incarnation as me, as Lisa, in this body at this time, my soul wants to be here on the planet to spread more light and to share. That's what this channel is all about. And at that time in 2016, she was making it clear that that's my purpose. But it took me a while to listen, and it took me a while to to make all the shifts that I needed to. And that just happened incrementally over time. And it takes time. There's no question about it. This human plane is slow. Our souls move faster. My soul was like, wake up, it's time. Why aren't you listening to me? I want to be more involved with your life. And so I decided through many different events, I took a vision board class with a group of colleagues of mine that I had become close to, and I met them in networking. Again, everything revolves around my business, and they invited me to do a vision board session with them. And the instructor was this amazing woman, younger than me and so wise, had been through so much, you know, and her story was super compelling. And I decided to work with her one-on-one, and she presented a lot of great ideas. And the one that stood out the most was that all illness, all challenge, everything really starts at a soul level and then comes down here to this plane. And so what that means is, if you're able to listen to your soul, if you're able to connect with that higher plane, quite literally higher above us, but also taking a vast view, you can make changes at a deeper level. So I took that to heart, and I did the vision board. All of the visions on that board manifested to reality because I was connecting with my soul to bring them forward. One of them was this beautiful patio, outdoor patio with like lattice work, and like it was very specific looking, and it appealed to me. So I put that on my vision board because it was a beautiful scene of people outdoors having fun and being together. Something that I missed at that time. So I wanted more of in my life. Fast forward, the end of 2016 and going into 2017, it was an El Nino year in the Bay Area, which meant lots of rain, lots of storms, damaged the house we were living in. Trees went down, you know, people were struggling, couldn't leave their neighborhoods. Power was out for days. And our landlord said, okay, we'll fix the house, but you have to move out. And we don't know how long. And we're like, okay, well, I guess it's time to move. And out my soul was like, it's time to go to LA. I said that to my husband at the time. And he's like, you know, he looked at me like, what? Because he had wanted to do that and I wasn't ready. Again, she took over and presented that idea, which so not ready at the time, but the best move I've ever made. So I'm so happy I listened. After moving to LA, you know, I missed my family, my network, my community, my clients, all were in the Bay. So I would travel back and forth from LA to the Bay to maintain that connection, which I really valued. From there, I, you know, sought more opportunities to keep in contact with my intuition. And at the time I thought it was my intuition. As I've learned more and more in my spiritual journey, I know that that's my soul. The intuition is just like a message confirming what the soul is saying. That's how I view it. So 2017 rolls along, lots of challenge still. The biggest thing that happened is I became a parent overnight. So my then husband's family lives in LA. His sister and her daughter showed up at our door, and they were a mess. And this is a 6-year-old little girl. You can just see in her eyes all the challenges she had been through, which were not communicated, of course, to the rest of the family. So seeing it live and in your home presented this emergency. You could just see it was an emergency. She couldn't read or write. She wasn't potty trained. She, not to mention all the mental health, psychological challenges she had been through. So my then husband and I took over, became parents. That happened, and literally the next week we're in parent-teacher conference, learning that she had only attended, 35 days of kindergarten. And again, news to us. So all of this stuff was just like hitting so hard. and it was so scary and so unknown. And the only thing I knew how to do and what really came forward was my soul, my intuition. Maternal instinct really hit at this point too. All of those to me are kind of a spectrum of things, but like my soul was ready to take that on, and she did through me as a human. Yeah, we got her through, going from not being able to read and write to at the end of the school year winning awards for reading, for perfect attendance, most improved student, incredible. And not to mention a beautiful connection that I have with this child, Sophie, and she is such a special, beautiful light who has helped me to heal my connections to my mom and kind of see that dynamic in a new way. That's part of my healing journey. Not only was it the challenge, but it was the healing. It was the blessing, being able to step in and not know, but know that that was part of my path. Again, that's all from trusting my soul's messages, my intuition, if you want to call it that, and accepting that challenge. On a day-to-day level, what that meant was ensuring I could take care of myself first and foremost, right? Because if you're on a plane, you put your own mask on first before you put on someone else's. If you don't have enough for you, you cannot give to anyone else. That's just the law of how it works. If you start to give what you don't have, we all know what happens. You burn out, you suffer, you get resentful. And I've been there before. I'm not doing that anymore. So I fueled myself first. I went to yoga regularly. I worked out every day. The food that I eat is critical. That keeps me fueled, that keeps me happy, that keeps me alive and feeling good. Drinking water, meditating, journaling, having a practice every single day. Even when it's hard, like especially when it's hard, doing more of those things was what kept me through, because I was, running my own business, mom time, and being a partner, having friends, having a full life. And this was in 2017, pre-pandemic. All of those things were hard. There's no doubt about it. It was challenging, and it was so great to have a community and support, which I found through the yoga classes I was taking, through my networking colleagues, through my friends, through family. It actually highlighted that the marriage I was in was no longer the right relationship for me. So I sat with that for many months before I made the decision to tell Chris about that. And, it was so difficult, but after I honored that part of myself, I was like a bird flying out of a cage, free, free, free is how I felt. I remember I had a lot of friends that were on both sides of this coin, meaning some friends that were like, well, you've only been married a couple years. Like, what are you doing? Why aren't you staying in it? And there was a part of me that said, you're giving up. And then on the other side, I had friends that were in relationships for years and said, get out while you can, honor what you need. It's so easy, especially when now you have a child involved, to stay in for way longer than you should. I listened to my soul once again, made that hard and tough decision, talked to my therapist incessantly, and I did it. And it was so hard, but it was another moment where you leap off the cliff and you're like, God, I hope there's a net at the end, and there is. And your soul catches you, the right people start to show up, everything becomes aligned. So I moved out, found an amazing roommate, also going through a breakup, in a beautiful house, and started to heal. And I felt like I had gotten so far away from who I truly am, that my soul, who I truly am, was screaming at me, right? She was really pushing me to get it together. Come back to center. And now I had the opportunity to do that. So 2018, 2019, and the future has been all about how do I stay in that place where I'm in alignment, where my soul is happy and in charge. And when that's the case, I'm making every right decision. There's no wrong decisions, in fact. My heart is involved. My mind is there too. And everything is aligned, and it feels so different. And it looks different physically. It looks different, you know, to me too. Like what I see looks different.